What's up, everyone? I'm Damien,
And I'm Nick.
and this is the Aki Culture Club.
What's going on, boys and girls, and everybody in between? Welcome to episode 46, and that is season 4 of the Aki Culture Club. We got some new shows today, some returning, some really good ones, some that I'm ready to talk to Damien about because I don't know why he chose them ones. And yeah, we got a good episode for you today.
Absolutely. And as Nick has said, there might be some different ones on this list this year that we have. The vibe is definitely nothing we've ever watched before.
Yep.
That was on purpose. So we will see if Nick at the end can catch the theme. If you guys can catch the theme, I don't know. I thought it would be funny. But yeah, let's just dive right into this.
You want to list off all the ones that we're doing first?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So our two returning, our one returning is gonna be Fenna Pirate Princess. Today was episode 10, so we're gonna be fading her out very shortly. We're picking up 86 season 2. We talked about episode 1 last week, but we'll be continuing on with it this week. And then our new shows are going to be Demon Slayer, and I know y'all have seen Mugen Train, well, most of y'all have. So it's gonna be a little bit of a rehash, but we still think that we should talk about it. Platinum End, which is from the creator of Death Note. Furthermore, we're going to be doing Blue Period, which is a little bit of a different show than what we've seen in the past. And then we're going to be also watching Tact Op Destiny.
That's it. Oh, you forgot one.
Which one did I forget?
The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I did totally forget about that one. Mainly because I didn't remember if I told you to watch it or not. I did watch it, just so everyone knows. But yeah, we'll talk about that one as well. That one's a super weird one for a reason we'll get into when we talk about it.
All right. So shall we start off with our OG for this season, which is Fenna?
I think we should, yeah.
I think we should too. So Fenna, in 3 sentences, let me get you with this.
Okay.
Atlantis is real. Yukimaro is thirsting hard. Dance as if no one is watching, and all your dreams will come true.
I like that a lot. That's a really good introduction for this episode of Fenna.
Yeah, so we're going to do this thing where every episode that we watch, we're going to try to break it down into 2 or 3 sentences as a quick summary before we get in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one?
I do, yes. Maybe this isn't the end. Captain Abel is definitely a creeper. And the beginning was in the wall.
I like that too. Like, so we didn't discuss how we were going to do this before, but we both went with like cryptic summaries.
We did, yeah. I kind of did that for all of them, actually.
Oh yeah, me too.
I thought it was just the best because it's the shortest way to like. It's 2 great minds thinking alike. I will say this mostly because we don't want to give away the entire show in our 3-sentence overview. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like, I don't want to be like, yeah, so Fenna found Eden, but it wasn't really Eden, you know? I don't know. We know, you know.
Yeah. Dude, Abel is a creep though. Like, he's just a sad man. In the beginning, it was like we just saw a shot of him like touching the painting, and I was just like, man, he's a sad man.
He's a sad man. He needs help, bro. He needs some serious help.
And like, so the whole crew is under this guise, I guess, that they're looking for treasure, but this man is literally just following this woman, Fenna, to the middle of the ocean because he's so sad and depressed and wants his lady Helena back.
And he'll do it. Did you think that it was kind of not weird, but like a rehash of when they went to go find the coordinates, like in the middle of the season? It was like, we found this area and then it appeared and then we're going to go into it. And all of a sudden, like, the bad guys are behind us again.
Yeah. Yes. I was just waiting for the third crew of bad guys to show up.
Yeah. It almost felt like it's like, didn't you guys learn your lesson the first time around going into a random place that no one's ever been to before or hasn't been there in 1,000 years, you know, or however long Fenna's mom was alive?
Yeah. Yeah, Lena, Fenna. The names, man. It's hard.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. We have 7 episodes this week, and you probably have 14 more because you just watch anime all the time.
A little bit more than 14, but
But yeah, they found Eden. Well, they found like this treasure room at first, which they thought was Eden, and it was funny because like the twins are like jumping into the treasure and swimming around in the gold. But then Fenna the whole time, like, so before when they went to the coordinates before, she was almost like possessed when she was getting like pulled through that. But here she had her wits about her, and she just like knew where to go the whole time. It was like a calling, and I think they even called it a calling at one point.
Yeah, she wasn't possessed or as feeling as if she was possessed. It was more like natural instinct this time around. That's the feeling that I got anyway.
Yeah. So they come across this room of treasure from all over the world, literally like enough gold to take over kingdoms or start a new kingdom, assuming that it's all real. Because when they first got in, I was like, this seems too easy. You know, like it might be, maybe it's a fake treasure. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird to me because the title of the episode is like the climax of the curtain or something of that sort. The curtain rises on the climax, right? So I'm feeling like the show might end soon, which would be a real bummer. Like if it was a one and done type of show, but it felt like they were just like, okay, we're here now. We're gonna go up the steps, and then it was just like, whoa, this is like moving kind of fast, you know? Like there was no struggle, there was no, I don't want to say not a plot, but there wasn't any like there was no contingencies they needed to get into Eden. It was just kind of like, we're here, the gold room. There's no traps. There was no like feeling of like Fenna. What did feel for a minute there? She was like, I feel like this isn't what my father wanted me to see, right? Which was good that they at least put that in there because yeah, that definitely wasn't it. But it was kind of like all of a sudden, like she was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go down this hallway, and all of a sudden I'm in this, a room that has a checkerboard on it and faces on the wall, and yeah, I just felt like they moved a little fast.
I mean, that's something we talked about before with the show, how it's kind of like it's really chugging along. And they're not really, like, a lot of times, it's every season is a mini story within an overarching story. And it doesn't really, like, they're not really hinting at anything bigger than this. Like, this is the story. So I could see it ending in 2 more episodes.
No, that's a really good point. You're right. They don't hint at some like overarching like theme or problem or issue. It's just like we're gonna get to Eden, and then it almost feels like an and then what type of situation. It's like, okay, and what are we gonna do when we get to Eden, And like I'm still thinking about like, it feels like it could be the end, but like what is El Dorado? Was that El Dorado? Was that the city of gold that they were looking for? And it just so happens to be the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the only foreshadowing we've gotten in the last 5 episodes was Kai, because he hasn't shown up yet. I mean, I would put money that he's gonna show up here because there's gonna be the third bad guy that comes. I don't know.
So
I'm
like
talking about the assassin guy.
I know exactly. I'm just trying to formulate like how I can see the next 2 episodes playing out in my head. Like, what is it? They show up and the entire episode 11 is like a conflict, and then episode 12 is the resolution. Like Kai shows up, the all women pirate ship crew, the survivors show up because they want revenge. Captain Abel's there because he wants Fenna and he wants Helena, whatever. And then it's up to the goblins to kind of just like fight all 3 of them off. And it's just like, okay. And then 12 is like we're going to resolve everything. And then that's the end of the show. Yeah. It's kind of like, if they do that, it will feel kind of rushed.
It will. But so when she finally revealed what Eden was, like with the steps, and that's a whole other thing to talk about, the dance, it left a lot of mystery. So like something could be up there that becomes the major driving point of a completely different storyline after this, like some sort of conflict where it's like the world's ending or something unless you do X, Y, and Z, because they called it like the place of gods, I think they said.
Yeah, that's what they said.
So maybe something comes out of that. and we get a new storyline afterwards. I don't know.
How would you feel if they did that though? They spent this whole season like hyping up Eden, and all it did was like reveal itself to be a plot point that says like, oh, like it's almost like the queen is another castle type of situation from Super Mario Brothers. You know, you go through the entire level, and all of a sudden you get to the end of the level or multiple levels, and you're like, you know, Princess Peach isn't there. Like, sorry, it's a false flag. Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want the show to end because I like the characters. So I guess I wouldn't be that upset, but it does kind of feel like rushed writing.
It does. It does feel a little rushed. And I'm in the same boat as you too. I really hope this isn't the end, and it's just something like there's two cores almost, you know? Like we get the first one here, and then we get the other 12 episodes maybe in the winter time, you know? That would be cool.
Speaking of cores, with 86, I don't want to hop to it yet, but like they kind of did that too, where the whole first season was a plot against the lead, like the plot point was the Legion.
Yeah.
And then in the end, them moving on past 86 and venturing out into the world started the whole next plot point.
It did.
Them being out in the world. So it's not the first time we've seen it.
You're right. It's not. So that's why I'm assuming that it could happen. And it feels completely like The Promised Neverland did that too. You have one season is the entirety of a plot point, and then you move on. And I don't know. It's weird to me, but it just doesn't feel. And I'll get into this with 86. It doesn't feel natural to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what else didn't feel natural?
What?
How did she know to dance?
Oh my God. I think what they're trying to say for the entirety, like the thematics of this entire show, is that Fenno as a child was taught all of these things, dancing, singing, like sayings, all as keys to get into Eden. And I think her dancing was just another one of those things that her dad taught her, or her mom, you know, taught, I guess her dad, because her mom got roasted, but her dad taught her on how to unlock Eden.
Yeah. It was just another one of those things. And as soon as she started, I'm like, of course she dances.
Of course, you have to dance, bro. What else are you gonna do? You know, this is, instead of talk no jutsu, this is dance no jutsu. This is cryptology no jutsu. You know.
They left on a cliffhanger though, so I'm pretty excited to see what happens next week.
They did. I don't think we're going to see the top of it. I think the baddies are going to come in and cause conflict, so we probably won't see Eden. Personally, I don't think we'll see it until episode 12.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
But yeah, Fenna, 2 more episodes, and then you only have 2 weeks of watching 7 episodes, and then you'll be back to your normal 6.
Yeah, this is a lot, man.
It was.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you keep it all in line.
Dude, I got a calendar. I know when things come out. I watch them as they come out.
Smart.
How it goes. Yeah.
Smart.
I don't have 15 shows backed up in a queue, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't watch it all.
That's what I do, and it gets overwhelming.
So as the days go, I watch 5 to 7 shows a day. So
wow, that's a lot.
I know. I have a lot of time.
So we had mentioned 86, and I do want to hop into it because I feel like you had some choice words about 86.
Yeah, so 86 is following that, plot where the first 12 episodes or the first core follows one specific story, and that story almost gets resolved or ends. Like I said, The Promised Neverland follows the same thing. The kids, they're at the school, and if you've never seen Promised Neverland, pause right now because I'm going to spoil it. But at the end of the first season, they escape and they're off into the woods, right? At that point, to me, the show is completely different. Not because they just botched the second season, but just because in general, the story feels different to me. And the same thing is kind of happening with me and my relationship with 86, right? That whole first season, we saw a lot of carnage, a lot of distrust, a lot of fast-paced movement, a lot of death. In this season, we're seeing what appears to be the complete opposite. They're all adjusting to their new lives. They're working, they're shopping, they're doing art, they're baking. Even Shin is pursuing his education right now. And it just feels like a completely different story than what the first core of 86 was. Like, we didn't even see Lena in this episode at all.
Right.
It was completely focused on like the readjustment of the 86 crew.
Yeah, which leads me to my summary of this episode. 86 season 2 episode 2. The 86 try to assimilate but have some serious PTSD, and the annoying little girl is actually not just an annoying little girl.
Okay, mine is Captain Levi can't be stopped. Captain Levi can't be stopped. How does she know about Shin's older brother? And where are they headed next?
That's pretty good too.
Yeah.
I like these. I like doing that.
Yeah, these are good, aren't they?
Yeah. I will say I didn't get it for what was it? What was the one with the piano?
Blue Period.
Yeah, Blue Period. No, Take Off Destiny is the piano one.
Oh.
I don't know why, because it was 2 episodes, and it just got like, I don't know.
No, that's okay. I mixed up the 2 art ones. I can't believe I did that.
Yeah,
we're saying like, how do you keep things straight? I don't, I don't really do that. And I'll be honest, I watched The World's Finest Assassin like last week before we talked about doing it for this week, so I don't have one for that. So if you have it, good. If not, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, back to 86.
You mentioned 86.
Can't Stop Captain Levi. Like, of course, Shin is like a heartthrob in this new city that they're in. You could in the beginning of the episode, it was like the girls were all like, "Ooh, look at him,"
And he's just like, I don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
I'm here to work on my studies.
Yeah, just like Captain Levi, like he wants nothing to do with anything but fighting and being Levi. Pretty much, he's the same guy.
It really is. I wonder what the term is for this type of character.
There's definitely a term for it.
Oh, there has to be. See, like, I want to look it up, Nick, but I don't want to look it up because I know that I will spoil it for myself. Going to tvtropes.com, type in, Captain Levi, and the first thing I see is something that happened in what we're going to see in the winter of 2022. But I want to know. Anyway, so if anyone knows the label for these types of characters, the Captain Levi's, the Shins, the
insert really good fighter who doesn't care about anything else here.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like the first half of the episode was just kind of happy-go-lucky assimilation. You see all of the 86. They're kind of like living normal lives. A month has passed at this point. A month has passed, and then I think it really starts to switch to the PTSD part when I don't remember his name. The dude has like a scar on his face, and he was like working the moving company. And they drive past what's his name?
I forget his name.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah, but they drive past the parade, and the other guys are like, "Oh, those are so cool! I wonder what it's like to drive one of those." They're talking about the robots, whatever they're called, and you see him like clench his fist, and like it could have been like Vietnam flashbacks come over the screen because you could tell he's like, you don't want to know.
Yeah, you absolutely do not want to know what I went through, and that's when you're right. This the feeling of the episode changed when their wars machines kind of are marching through their parade as a show of nationalism. It's kind of like, oh shit, I'm scared.
Yeah. Did they took their raid devices?
Yeah.
Away? I feel like they're not going to get those back. That's a pretty useful technology for Empire to have. But that's how are they ever going to communicate with Lena again?
That's a really good question. I have this feeling that so this federation is essentially the overtaking of the Legion, right? So people of San Magnolia, yeah, they think that they're still at war with this old government, right?
Right.
They have no idea that this government is new, and they don't really care about this war anyway. Like, they don't even know that the government they're fighting was couped and that it's completely different leadership and they have no interest in fighting, right?
Right.
But I do still understand that taking the raid devices to like see how they were built and what information they can get for them is good for what was their past enemy or the enemy of their past leaders. I think what's going to happen is that the crew is going to, by the end of the episode, they kind of said like, we're not going to stay here. This is way too comfortable for us. Like we have a mission that we still need to complete. They're going to go back out there, and I think they're going to run into Captain Chaos or whatever her name is, Lena's new commander. I don't even remember her name, but I think they're going to run into her and they're going to reconnect with Lena through her.
I think you might be right. That's a good prediction. Yeah. That was pretty much the whole episode. It was like happy-go-lucky, and then it's like, it's not so happy. Still gotta free our friends from the Legion. And then the big twist at the end, which nobody really seemed to care about. The 86 didn't really seem to care about, with the little girl. She came on and she was talking to Ernst about, because Ernst didn't want them to leave. And she said, I wrote it down. She said, they finally escaped a cage of oppression, and now you want to trap them in a cage of pity. I was like, you're like 10. I
was like, where is this coming from? Like, how do you, it's way too metaphoric for a 10-year-old. What are you doing? And then all of a sudden it's like, I wrote this down too. I was like, oh my God, her true name is Augusta Federica Adel Adler, the last empress of the Empire of Jihad. I was like, where is this show going? Like, why would they make, I guess, a little girl as an adult, like, oh, I'm gonna, I was the one that, waged war on your people. It's like, oh my God, I hope this is not going down the tubes, because that really does kind of feel like it,
But the 86 are like, yeah, we don't care. Our real enemy was actually the Republic. So we don't really care who you are. And then she's like, okay, well, as long you can leave, as long as you let me come with you, because my knight got killed by the Legion, and she knows about the Legion and what they do. So her knight, I'm assuming, was killed by them and is now trapped in the Legion body. And that's it.
Do you take issue with that?
Let's explain.
Do you take issue with the fact that this little girl just shows up? Well, she's not a little girl. I guess she's apparently a war chief at this point, a war general. Just being like, yeah, I'm going to come with you now. And like, I'm going to fight. It's like, bro, you ain't even in this. Yeah. Like, this ain't about, no one cares about your knight. No one cares about you. Like, this is about the 86 fighting back against, the Republic, unless she acts as some like sort of liaison to Lena, is like, oh yeah, we're not fighting, you guys anymore. And, pretty much is allowed to like, can talk to the government of the Republic. And it's just like, yeah, we're not in war anymore. Like, what if that's her like point, like her plot point? But otherwise I'm like, I don't really see why you're here. You don't need to come.
Yeah. I also take issue with the fact that her voice is just so annoying.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
I wanted them to leave her alone,
I feel like you hate every overzealous little kid character that shows up in any show that we watch.
It's just so high and squeaky and like
it's annoying.
Much, nobody actually talks like that.
No. But then again, no one really talks like any of the shows that we watch,
True. You're right.
But yes, I do see like it's always like the characters are like, I'm going to be older than I actually am. And then you're like, you have no idea what life is like. And then and I don't want to be a boomer or anything, but it's just like, damn, you like really have no idea. Like, you should just stay here and like be comfortable and hang out,
Pretty much.
And you're just like, just stop,
I do know. She has like a power though.
She does. She can see people's past and present.
Yeah.
Which I didn't get the present part, but I definitely got the past part.
Yeah, I can see glimpses of your present and past.
Yeah.
So that's how she knew who Shin's brother was, or about Shin's brother, because she could see his past. Something of like her royal bloodline. So there's like powers or like weird quirks, I guess, with people in this show.
Like, and that's another thing that's like, kind of like low key bothers me with her character. It's kind of just like, why are we giving people like random supernatural powers now?
Right.
Like I felt like this show is not meant to be about. I guess Shin always could like hear voices in his head, and that's how he kind of knew that the Legion were coming. So maybe that was in the same vein of the same power, because I did like write down that they actually do look like they're a little related. Like they have the same color eyes and the same color hair too.
Yeah, that's a twist that's coming next season. I think you're right. That's coming.
You think so? You think they're going to reveal that they're siblings somehow?
Or just like Shin's actually like part of some like elite clan or royal bloodline, and that's why he has those powers.
Could you imagine if that's what happened?
I can't imagine it.
Could you imagine like what would he become, like the new king of where the 86 are from, and all of a sudden like he's now like in charge of them. Then he like leads up the charge against the Republic and takes back, revenge, spares Lena.
The prince that was promised.
The prince that was promised, essentially. Yeah. That would be some wild-ish, but I don't know.
Some wild-ish. Yeah. I don't know. This like I don't know where this season's going, like at all. They're gonna like fight for the military of the Confederacy. I don't really know. It was confusing.
That's essentially what we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to go through this whole special officers training school that he promised them, and he's essentially gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna become officers and you're gonna become part of our army. Like I see like everything seems cool with these guys, but I don't necessarily think that they're as nice as they make themselves out to be. They're definitely like, they took their raid devices, they're making them go through their special officer training school, which who knows what kind of brainwash propaganda information could be fed to them. And then before you know it, they may replace their raid devices with devices that they have, and all of a sudden they're under the spell or under the command of Giad Federacy or Giad Federacy.
Yeah.
Could be a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we just got to wait and see.
I think so too. I hope this season, we both loved 86 last season or 2 seasons ago. So I'm really hoping they don't like crap the bed on this. That's all.
I mean too. That it was last season was brutal. They have a lot to live up to. They
do. And that's why I'm hoping that they do live up to it. And I think they might.
Yeah. High hopes, optimism here at the Aki Culture Club.
Aki Culture Club.
We still got 5 more to talk about, man. I don't know where you want to go from here.
Oh my God. All right. Well, Nick, I think that we should go to Demon Slayer, Mugen Train season 2, whatever it is.
Essentially, it was like the prelude to the movie. This episode.
Yes, this was the prelude to the movie, and we should just get this out of the way. This is why I think that this is why I decided for us that we should watch this show, because Nick never saw the movie.
I did not.
So he has no idea what's about to happen. Please do not spoil it for Nick, because he's already in the middle of it. And in 6 weeks, Nick, you'll know what happens. But this was the prelude to the movie. We did not see the way the movie started was with Inosuke and Tanjiro and Zenitsu running into the train and seeing it.
Now, I saw about the first 30 minutes of the movie, so I did catch that. I was like, they actually did do a prelude to the movie here.
Okay, good. So you did see so you saw the first like third or half, which is good. Okay.
Yeah.
But what did you think?
I mean, my 3 sentences is Flame Hashira is the coolest character.
Yes.
Slasher got slashed, and the Mugen Train is gonna be dope.
Yes.
That's it.
So this is like, he has to be, Rengoku has to be my favorite character in all of Demon Slayer.
I mean, I only know a glimpse of him, but she's like such a, it's the word I'm looking for, like warm character.
He is. And we saw that when he asked all the other Hashiras like what they thought of him. and they all gave very positive answers for who he was as a character. And even the more somber Hashiras even said that they liked him a lot.
Yeah, I just like the way that when he eats, like that is the perfect description of him as a character.
Oh my.
Yeah. And he bought all the bento boxes twice from the poor little girl who's trying to help her mom who's pregnant and her dad's like failing or whatever. He's just a good guy.
He is a good guy. He's a good guy. And he's also really strong too.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Like, we do have to remember ourselves that he is a Hashira. Like, he is wicked. Like, he is one of the strongest demon slayers in the core, period.
He made light work of the slasher.
Oh, he did. And that slasher dude was fast too, right?
Yeah.
And like, obviously they're regenerative, so like he's just slashing at his hands and his feet, and like those feet are coming back. But dude, I feel like him as a character really, like, he knew when he saw him, he was like, I'm gonna kill this guy the second I find him. Like, he's just like, I can't get to him when he's like hacking and slashing. But even like how I don't want to say like he has pride, but it was almost funny. Like, the slashing demon was like, oh, I killed that girl for fun. And once I was tired with her, I like stopped slashing her. And he was like, you think you were tough. You think you could kill her, but guess what? You're not that strong. We actually saved her and she's not going to come out with a scratch. And it's just the way he delivers that line. I don't know what it is. I don't want to say he's like Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins, which I don't want to make that comparison, because like Seven Deadly Sins can kind of dog water, but I think like for some reason that like fiery sun flame spirit, I feel like is a character trope too, you know, of like pride.
Yeah, the sin of pride, it very much is. That's a good comparison. I would also think like he's like Guy Sensei. Like it's the spirit of youth, you know, it's just all this energy, always positive. Yeah, and they're both badass.
They are both badass. Well, I don't know yet, but I have a feeling. So yeah, prelude episode. We do like, you know, he goes on a hunt, he slashes some demons, he gets on the Mugen train, goes back onto commission contract. Yeah, goes back on the rails. I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, then they meet up with Zenitsu and Iseke and Tanjiro.
Yep, and then that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, damn,
just a nice intro. Intro to what's to come.
It was. I do feel like the movie was really good and was really awesome to see in theaters. I'm sad that you didn't get to see it. I'm interested to see what changes they make in this season, because there are going to be, like I said, that there's going to be like 70 new cuts, new music. So there's going to be some differences, but you're kind of in for a wild ride, definitely, as to like what the story entails. It's broken up into like what I would say like 3 major parts. And each part is like very fun in its own way.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm very excited for it, and I'm happy to be the person on the other side, because like half the time it's like I've seen the show and you haven't, so I'm like I'm really excited for you to see it. So I'm happy that's switched.
Yes, it's interesting now that I'm on this. Now we're flipped, because I know what happens, and you don't. So like now when I'm thinking about like Naruto, like there are things about Naruto that I'm just like I'm just enjoying it so much right now. And there's things that like I'm watching, like Sasuke met up with the clan of the Sound, and they fed him the little pill John, and they stuck him in the little coffin thing. And the big ass ginger dude gave him the Earth Shield and put all 5 of them into the Earth Shield, and then they corroborated together with a way to like break out. But like it's so fun to me because I'm having so much fun watching Naruto, and like I don't know what's going to happen. Like I don't know why Sasuke took that pill. Like I don't know if he was bluffing and he's just trying to figure out a way to get to like more information out of the Village of Sound, or like if he's actually like lusting for more power so he can kill his brother. Like I don't really know, and he's kind of like a wild card in terms of like his ideology. So like I don't know where he's going with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's just a lot of fun.
It is. I'm so excited that you're there already.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm watching a lot of, I'm even watching, I'm doing it like, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm doing it like the maximalist. Like I'm watching every movie in order with the show. Like by the end of this, I'll have watched every Naruto movie and seen every episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not skipping anything. I'm not skipping any filler. I'm not skipping any of the movies, even if they're not canon. I'm still watching them. Like the Land of Snow movie.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it? I think.
Yeah.
It was so fun to see how good quality the movie was compared to the show, because I'm watching them like in tandem. So I was watching all the way up to what I think was like episode like 105, 106, and then you watch the movie, and then you go back to episode 107. The quality is so different, but it's just like, it's so cool because I really wish I was in 2004 seeing it in the theaters.
Oh man, it would have been
because
so
like
cool.
You know, like Sasuke, Naruto, Sakura, they're all like standing on the ceiling of the movie theater, and they're like in a movie theater, you know? Like I think like fifth grade Damien would have been like, oh my God, like they're in a movie theater, it's real world. And then like they're on like a movie set. It's just like goofy, you know?
Yeah.
I got derailed a little bit in Naruto, but
you got derailed, but you're coming up on some fun in Naruto. I'll say that.
Yes, I am, and I'm happy.
Keep
I'm
watching,
happy with
man.
it. I'm keep watching.
I just want you to see it. I keep watching.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the guy. I can't wait to see Guy Sensei fight. I want to see Kakashi go all out. I want to see Orochimaru get his ass. I want to see Kabuto get his ass beat. I want to see more Tsunade, obviously. Obviously. I want to see. It's fun because like, and this is why I like Fairy Tail. I know people hate Fairy Tail. This is why I like Fairy Tail. There's all these small stories happening, and you get little bits and pieces of the overall story.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. I think it's really fun. So yeah, derailed a little bit, but Demon Slayer.
I mean, we summed it up.
Yeah, we're good. I mean, it wasn't a lot. So
what do we got next? There's someone here that
so many
we need to talk about. Some that are really good too.
Oh shit. Okay.
You pick.
Let's do Tact Op Destiny.
Okay. So we watched 2 episodes. We watched 1 and 2. I do not have a summary for this one.
That's okay. I just have man has no arm. These monsters are crazy. Mappa and Madhouse are animation geniuses.
Oh, dude, the animation was so good.
Yeah, that's because Madhouse and Mappa, Mappa is the one that's doing Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh, you know, I don't know why. I'm just to the audience. Madhouse is the one that's doing it. So, like, that's basically like kind of one of the reasons why I was so drawn to choosing this show is because like I knew that the animation was going to be really top quality. I don't know about this, like the story so much, but like so far based off 2 episodes, and you know, at the very beginning, people were saying like, "Oh, I don't understand the hype. Like this might just be like bad guys attack world, good guys fight bad guys, good guys win." You know, based off the 2 episodes, it's kind of a little bit darker than just that.
Yeah, I mean, were you confused? Because I was confused.
What were you confused about?
So like, he's a maestro.
Yeah.
And the girl is a music art, which is like a tool essentially, because she's like an alien essentially in the first episode. But then when we find out in the second episode, she was actually a little girl. And they had this like really nice episode. In the second one, I'm gonna skip to the second one before we go back to the first one. I mean, it was basically like, you're really good at piano. I can play piano. Let's go play piano for these people because they haven't heard music in like 4 years. Yeah, and that was essentially. And they played piano, and it was great. It
was a really good just 2-liner of the entire episode.
I mean, not much else happened until the end when like they get attacked by the D2s. I'm assuming there's different levels of these Ds.
Yeah, D2. I think so. Yeah.
And the little girl dies, and then right? She kind of dies, and then like
she gets blown up, bro.
Yeah, and
You
then
saw that meteor crash into the piano.
I did. And then her stone, which the whole story is about these stones, turns into like a spirit, and then like takes over her body, but also like attaches itself to his arm.
Yeah.
So like, is this maestro music art thing like? Is it like a thing? Like, are there more?
Okay, so I'm gonna try to fill in some of the gaps with my assumptions based off your questions.
Okay.
When I saw that happen, when I saw her get blown up and her laying there and his arm got crushed, and the spirit came out, had the briars all the way all over the place, and then she came out, chomped his arm off, and then she turned from what would be dead into this music art, this tool, right? I got Full Metal Alchemist vibes from that scene. I was assuming that spirit thing was taking his arm, right, as a cost to giving her a second chance at life.
Okay.
And that by taking his arm, they were like entering in a contract almost like Full Metal Alchemist is. Like, I'm taking for the price of bringing your mother back, I'm taking your body and your arm and your leg.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing almost. I want to give her life, but I'm going to take something from you.
Yeah, and now they're like connected,
Yeah.
like on a body level. Like his life force is also hers.
Yeah, and it seems like his arm, based off the first episode, his arm does reappear when she's not in like the fighting form. And when they go into like the fighting form, his arm disappears. It turns into the music stick John thingy, and he starts conducting and she starts fighting.
Yeah, but so the other part that was confusing is like in the first episode, that's the sister, I don't remember her name, like the other girl that was with them.
I think her name was Cassette.
So Cassette is
Cosette?
The music art. She's the little girl that died and became a thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So then there's her older sister, who was the third person that's in their little trio. And she kept, in the first episode, she kept referring to her as her sister. But then like Cassette is like an alien. She's like, I don't understand why humans make it so difficult to get nutrition when she's looking at the donut. And she's eating all this food because she needs calories, because that's how she like has power essentially.
Yeah, I totally like. I watched these at 2 different times, and now I'm only thinking about it. You're right. Like, I didn't realize that she needed to consume food. Like, she's a completely different person.
Right.
You know?
So at the end of episode 1, I was like, I don't understand what this dynamic is. How is he her sister? How is she her sister? But she's also like an alien, like not really human. And then at the end of episode 2, I was like, okay, I get it now. But it's like, it's not the personality is completely different from 1 to 2. So it's like her body, but it's not her.
I don't know, actually. I'm trying to think, like, yeah, it just doesn't. I think that's something that's like maybe part of the mystery of the show that we don't fully know yet. Yeah. Is like, hey, maybe because you did mention this like as one of your questions, like, is this maestro sound card thing, is that like, are other people like that? And if so, like, how are they formed as a bond,
Right.
And like, I'm gonna say yes, other people are like that, because these D2 are scared of music. So scared of music, that's why they try to destroy them, destroy like piano and people who are playing music and whatnot, and then they use the weapon as a way to kill them. But so I'm assuming that there are going to be others like that, and we're probably going to meet them, especially when we go to like their final destination, or their current destination is New York. So obviously, if they're going to a city, they're going to meet other people who are like them.
Yeah, and I think that's their whole goal. And it's like they can help them with something. I don't really remember what it was. So I think you're right. Yeah, it was interesting, really interesting like premise of music being the core of this whole show. That's new.
It is new. It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely. So a lot of times I'll watch shows on low volume, like during work.
Mhm.
And like you can't with this one because it's all about the sound.
It's all about the sound. It's all about the music, Nick. You got to listen to the music.
But it's good. I mean, this one is I'm confused and I want the answers.
Yes. Same. Me too. Did you know though that this show is actually um for a video game tie-in?
No.
Yes, it is. So anyone didn't know the show is for a video game, a mobile game, maybe. I don't really remember. So it's one of those things where they're like, hey, like we're gonna make a show to promote our game, and we really, who knows if the show is gonna be good or not. But just because it was Mappa and Madhouse, I really wanted us to watch it to see how it would go. I have expectations for good expectations, not like amazing, but uh, just throwing that out there so everyone's clear that we're taking a risk with watching this one because it is a game tie-in show. So
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering what your motivation was for this one. So
yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah. The premise I thought was interesting too, using music to defeat monsters, maybe some type of, sophisticatedness, a little bit more mature,
Yeah, it's different. It's different than anything else we watched.
It's a little different, is it not?
Which I'm going to use this as a segue into another one that's a little different than something we usually watch.
Yes.
And that is Blue Period.
Oh yes, Nick, it is. Is it not? Tell me what you thought.
I mean, I have one sentence summary for this one.
Go ahead.
It's a closeted artist is depressed and serious until he tries painting. And that's pretty much the whole episode.
Yeah, that's kind of what I have as well. It's my man's just depressed AF. Yo, he's kind of arrogant, but also kind of bashful. And I hope this man becomes a great artist.
So is this one of those slice of life that you always talk about?
I don't think it's a slice of life necessarily. I think it's more like a drama.
Okay.
Slice of lives don't really have a plot thickening portion. Like there's no real like overarching like issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's more just like day-to-day life of people. Think of like Mug Club was like a slice of life. Like it's not like they needed to do anything crazy. They were just making mugs and learning about mugs, and they were crafting pottery and stuff.
That's exactly what I thought about, actually. I was like, are we watching this mug show that Damien was talking about?
No. This is Blue
better.
Period, Nick. This is a very well received and beloved manga.
Okay.
That has been adapted into an anime.
Okay. Listen, I didn't know anything about this before I watched this episode. Like, I didn't watch any trailers. So the whole time I was just waiting for like the aliens to come or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they just never came. And I was like, oh, this is just about painting. Okay. I'm not gonna write it off.
It is, Nick. And the reason why is because this season I'm trying to expand our tastes a little bit as a club. We love to watch the beat 'em up, all fighting. Tell me the name of the enemy so we can beat them down. Shonens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can name so many shonens. We watched pretty much all shonen anime up until this season. Mm-hmm. And with the fall, I felt like it was kind of a nice opportunity to maybe slow things down a little bit and watch something that's a little bit more slow burn, if I would like to say so myself.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it. This is a show about a kid who wants to paint, and he's in his blue period, mm-hmm. which is an ode to Picasso and his like only using blue during his works.
Mm. Yeah, and he starts off like arrogant, all about efficient time and making money, and he ends the episode obsessed with painting.
Yes,
because he actually like felt something when he painted,
which was, I felt like it was maybe a little too rushed, because it was like the first half of the episode he was like, this is stupid, I ain't painting, and then that girl saw his painting and was like, oh, this is actually really nice, who did this, look closer, and she was like, oh, hate that kid. And he was like, wait a second, someone actually liked my painting, like. And then all of a sudden, like by the end, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Tokyo University of the Arts, and it has a 0.5% acceptance rate, and I'm gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, damn. I'm like, okay, like I guess so. That's gonna be kind of hard. You're gonna be a sophomore soon.
Yep.
And yeah, we see him trying to grow. This is all about just the growth of an artist.
Yeah,
You
but this
know,
man could have made like a popsicle stick house, and someone would be like, "I really like your popsicle stick house," and he could have had the same. Like somebody actually like gave him praise for something he did.
do you think he was just searching for that praise anywhere that he could find it, Nick?
It kind of, but I mean, he did say something along the lines of like I've gotten praise before, and I didn't care.
He did.
So it's something that he actually like expressed himself in. But it could have been popsicle sticks, you know. I don't know.
It could have been anything that made him feel like the way painting made him felt.
Yeah.
But it just so happens that painting made him feel this way.
Yeah, the colors, and he put some effort into it. And, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm gonna
this.
say, Nick, I do think that you're going to enjoy this show.
Yeah, I'm trying not to judge a book by its cover. It just
I wouldn't
because I knew nothing about it, and I was like, you know, this seems like a light from Death Note character. Like he's really good at everything he does. Like when's the bad thing gonna happen? And it just never happened. And I was like, oh, okay. So it just threw me for a loop. Break the formula.
Yes, break the formula. I also want to say, like, I know, and I don't want to abuse this, right? But I know at the very beginning you did not like Tokyo Revengers. By the end, you really enjoyed Tokyo Revengers.
I'm hoping that happens again.
I want that to happen again. So I don't know if it's going to be this show. Maybe it'll be something else in the future, but there it is.
Yeah, I'm giving it its due, due chance.
Due chance. Because you're lucky I didn't make you watch Komi-chan Can't Communicate, because that would have been something for you to watch. Komi Can't Communicate. But I chose Blue Period instead.
I thank you. I like painting. The painting teacher really reminded me of my painting teacher from high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They had
How so?
The same demeanor of like she'll like challenge you, but like in a really nice way. And her voice even kind of sounded the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like she was really good at what she did. And like she would put you down for when you did something wrong, but she did it in a constructive way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it just reminded me of her.
Wow. It shows you how well they were able to capture the essence of some of those characters, like the fact that they were able to write a character that resonated with someone that you knew in that exact same position just speaks volume about the quality of character writing that the show has.
Yes, it does. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too. So Blue Period. We'll see you next week.
Sure. What do we got left? We got
our Assassin show.
Yes. I have a one sentence summary as well.
Okay.
And it's literally the title. The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. Got it. That's literally what happened.
That's kind of it. Okay. So this show, I kind of want to just throw this one out there. This was, and I know you don't really know, I don't think you know this, and I don't think you might have much context, but this was based off a light novel from an author that also wrote another light novel called Redo of Healer. Now, Redo of Healer was adapted for anime release 2 seasons ago, maybe, or 3 seasons ago. Maybe it was in the winter. And essentially, it was the most edge-lured anime that had ever been released. There was like revenge. There was like revenge, like there was like revenge. There was like rape. There was revenge. There was all types of like really, I would say, very mature themes that were also kind of edgy at the same time, like edgelord-ish. Not for the sake of the show, but for the sake of just like getting a reaction out of somebody. Now, I knew that since this was running on Crunchyroll, that this show wasn't going to have that caliber of intensity of edginess, but I was interested to see how this author would write another story, because I knew that it was going to be dark and gritty. Because he is an assassin, so he will be killing people. So that's kind of like where my head was at when I chose this show. And I isekais are usually trash. Not sometimes, most of the time I like them. But yeah. How did you feel about this show?
Well, it definitely got some of the edginess in the beginning because like the human trafficking that was going on.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that was like a piece from the future, and that was our current assassin, and he just murdered 30 people like with a gun just right there, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think he's like that whole James Bond-esque, he plans for everything, takes the bullets out of the gun, so that whole thing is interesting. It's been done a lot, but I mean, I think he's cool for sure.
I think he's cool.
I mean, he's cool. Like, I mean, nothing really happened. Like we saw, okay, they set up this character. He's a super badass assassin. He's James Bond. Like he plans ahead for everything, and then the agency or whatever that he's supposed to be retiring from is like, oh, you're not retiring. We're gonna kill you. Yeah. And then as soon as they get on the plane, I'm like, oh, of course the plane is what's gonna take him to the next world.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's an isekai. And then he gets taken to the next world, and that's it.
Yeah, and he pretty much, that kind of sums up the entire first episode.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this like middle-aged badass man into a girl. Like that's an interesting dynamic.
Wait, he's a girl?
So do you think he was the sniper? Or do you think oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I think he was the sniper because he's taking his abilities to this other world to be an assassin.
Yeah, that makes sense because it showed the sniper in Otherworld and then it showed him with the sniper.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an isekai. We'll see.
Yeah, it's an isekai. He got isekai. I don't know how this is. This was also another one that's kind of a little bit of a risk. And I just feel like the theme of this season is taking risks.
That's fine.
Like we don't know how these things are going to transpire. We don't know how these shows are going to go. So this is one of those ones where it's like, fingers crossed that it'll be good enough to talk about and it won't be just like drivel for 12 episodes and we just can't wait till we get to Attack on Titan, Chainsaw Man of next season, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But yeah, I mean, you pretty much summed up this first episode. Like, he's cool, he gets murdered, he's killing sex traffickers. Boom.
Yeah,
we really don't know anything else.
Yeah, we've seen this before, like a lot of times.
Yeah, and I think that might be what is so repetitive about isekais, is that we see a lot of that stuff a lot. Like we see it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, his character, like he's James Bond. It's just a James Bond who kills more.
Yeah, that's true. He's just a more ruthless James Bond.
Yeah.
But I feel like we'll be able to make a little bit of a better decision once we find out, like, as this episode like goes on,
Yeah, I'm not dogging it. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily sold on it just yet.
Yeah, well, we got to give it 2 more episodes, so it's the old Aki 3.
That's true. We got to give it 2 more, and then we'll see what happens, and we'll make a decision. But yeah.
But this last show, just call me the segue guy because I'm segueing all our shows. This last one, I have a feeling like I'm in after 1 episode.
Oh, are you?
Oh, I'm in. I think so. It's Platinum End. I think it's just a really interesting premise, much like how. So it's from the creator or the writer of Death Note. Like, we know that, right? Like the premise of Death Note was a book that you could write someone's name in and they die. Like that in itself, like it was the way that he used it that made it so interesting.
Yep.
So it's the same thing. He has these 2 powers, he has wings, and he has 3 powers. He has those 2 arrows. And it's the way that he uses those arrows and his powers that I think are going to be really interesting.
I completely agree with you. I actually wrote that down as a plot point that I wanted to talk about because I said, like, I was like, oh, damn, this is wild. Like, after he got his powers and like he was starting to use them, like, he got the wings, he started using that first. And then he got the red arrow that he used as a way to make people fall in love with him. At that point, I was like, this, I'm not really getting like Death Note vibes from this. Like, I didn't think I was, because an author can create another story and it can have a totally different feel. It can have totally different themes. That's totally okay. But I was somewhat, for some reason, expecting for it to have that sort of like, that slight edge to it that Death Note provided with the way that he used the book, And I think after he made his aunt kill herself, like, that was like, okay, this is Death Note now. Like, this isn't I don't want to say this is Death Note, but I was like, okay, this is where the manipulation comes into play.
Yes, he has
like,
the ultimate power.
He does, and he can use it however he likes, and then we find out that that's not the only power that he can get. There's another one that he also has right now. And that's the white arrow. And the white arrow eliminates people instantaneously.
Instant painless death.
Which is now, to me, like, holy crap, this is like, for some reason, way riskier than Death Note, because Light was just able to write in his book and then things would happen. And then there was also like an insanely intelligent character who was on his tail and was able to like kind of figure him out. But this case, he actually has to go and kill these people like dead on, right?
Yeah.
So it's completely like way riskier.
Yeah, he can't just do it from his room.
Yes, exactly. And speaking of powers, I know we're going to be jumping around this episode a lot, but did you see the robot man at the end?
I did. Who
used the white arrow?
Yeah.
I think he is one of the candidates. So there's 13 candidates. They all have an angel with them that are all competing for the role of God. And it just so happens that our MC Mirai is now a God candidate. And he's one of the 13. I'm going to assume the robot dude was one of those dudes.
Yeah, but he also killed another dude who had powers.
Wait, did he?
Yeah, he had an angel with him and he was using the red arrow, the guy that he killed. And he was like, wait, a white arrow? Because he could see it. And he killed him.
God, you're right. I thought that was weird. I'm like, how do you know there was a white arrow? Oh.
So he could be the lurker in the background, like L was this whole time, who's on his tail because maybe this guy's trying to eliminate all the other God candidates.
I think you might be right. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
It could go everywhere. It could go anywhere. Right.
And that robot dude had a third ring around his arm. Did you notice that?
I did not.
Yeah. So instead of like our Mirai had 2 because he had the white and the red, but this dude had another one around his wrist.
What if every time you kill another God candidate, you get another power?
Oh, what if they all have different power? Like, so like everyone gets a white arrow, right? But each person gets a different color arrow that does something different, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe Mirai's the only one that has wings because we didn't see wings on the mech suit guy. And why would you need a mech suit if you can just fly the speed of light?
That's true.
So maybe they all have unique powers.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, it would. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this could go so many ways.
It really could. What did you think of the Angel Nass?
Dude, what kind of angel just suggests like, oh, just kill him, just kill your family?
Yeah, right. It was almost like it didn't feel. He even suggested like, damn, I don't think you're an angel. I think you're more like a demon. And she's like, I don't know. Demons don't really exist. They only really exist in the hearts of humans. And you're like, yeah, but you're the one that's suggesting to just murder someone without like a second thought,
Yeah, it's just Shinigami, but an angel.
That's what it is, Nick.
She's ruthless, but her whole desire is to make him happy. Like I feel like that's her only goal. So it's one of those like that can be taken so literally for her that she can do anything that's standing in her way of that is an obstacle. So just kill him.
Because that's an obstacle of his happiness.
Right.
Because happiness is, I think, a huge theme in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Like they must have mentioned it like 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
At the very beginning, they said that like in this world, everyone wants to attain happiness. And once they get it, it's everyone's goal to get even more happiness. So like, it does feel like there is this Nas has like this pragmatic approach to happiness, right?
Yeah.
Like they killed your family, they made you unhappy, so that you should kill them so you can feel happy.
Yeah.
Like you should kill them for your money. Sorry.
She's just like tunnel visioned. Like that's her only purpose.
And I think that is going to impede Mirai as this story goes on.
Yeah, I agree.
He's going to there's going to be I think very precarious parts of this show where Nas is going to not do him dirty, but suggest him to do certain things that I think might not be in his best interest.
Right.
All for the sake of happiness.
Yeah, she doesn't have his best interests at heart.
Yeah, she thinks she does.
Yeah.
But the long-term complications will never be achieved with just like this pragmatic approach of like thing in way, remove thing any way possible. Now I'm happy. That's not going to work. Another thing I thought was funny about this episode, I don't know if it's funny. Well, it's not really funny, but when he made his aunt kill herself, and the husband was like freaking out, RMC and the angel were just talking to each other about what to do, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, his uncle doesn't see her. So like all he sees is his like nephew that he's abused his entire life just yelling at the sky about stuff. And it's almost just like, that's got to be weird as heck, like, damn.
Yeah, that was a big, because Light was so smart in Death Note, like he never talked to Ryuk out in public, but like, yeah, that's going to be a big part, because I mean he could be seen flying too. That's going to be a huge part of the show, because he could be seen flying. They can't see his wings, but his body's gonna be flying around.
His body, it's just like throughout, like.
Yeah,
I did say that he did say that he moves so fast that humans can't see him, though, right?
Right, unless he's just like floating.
Yeah, unless he's floating, or he's just gargoyle style on top of an Irish embassy, or just decides to like chill on top of what looks like a pillar in a city. It's like people are gonna see you up there, man. They're gonna be like, "What the heck is this kid doing?"
Yeah, just the potential that this show could go. I know we have this whole like he's supposed to be God, but like he's still a human. So, and like the things that he's doing are crimes, and it could just go so many different ways. And I'm really excited.
It could go for a lot of different ways. I'm really stoked on this show, and I'm glad that it's looking good for us.
Yeah, totally agree. Phew.
Oh my God, you watched a lot today.
That was 7 shows, man.
I watched a little bit today. No, I watched about 7 too today. I'll probably watch more when this is over. But yeah, so thank you everyone for coming to our 46th club meeting and our season 4 premiere. This is insane that we've made it to our 4th season. This is crazy. Like always, we're your two wannabe weebs, where we detail the season's newest shows and now analysis of old favorites. You can find us at akiculture.club or at Aki Culture Club on social media.
That's it, man. It's only one way to end these.
Peace out.
See ya.